Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this video, and I am going to be talking today about the Acura Integra and my thoughts on the vehicle and what I've seen people say about the vehicle so far in the in many forums and many like for example Reddit. So I'll catch you in a bit. So, this is what the Acura Integra looks like, the newest iteration, which is coming for 2022, which is I think it's a 2023 model. So, what I've been seeing from people is that they've been saying that the Acura Integra was a classic vehicle. Like we've had classic vehicles, and I do have to agree that we had cars like the Acura Integra, this is what it used to look like, the Acura Integra. And then we got the Acura Legend, which this is what it looks like. So that's that. And then we had the Acura RL. And then we had the next one, so on and so on. So you know what I'm talking about. So, and I almost forgot to mention that we had the NSX, the Acura NSX. So the reason I am mentioning these vehicles is because these are vehicles that are one of a, they're not, I have to say that most of them are one of a kind vehicles, except for the Acura NSX. And most of you agree, I agree with most of you that say, oh yeah, there's no comparable car for these vehicles. Yeah, maybe. But for the Acura NSX, there is, because the Acura NSX was kept. I think it first came out as a Honda NSX, and then in America and other places, I'm not sure where, but I just know in America it's considered the Acura NSX. And I've been reading a lot of forums, like on Reddit and many places, that have said things like, "Oh, why is it that you guys not care about rebrandings? Why don't you care? Because look, most of us don't. Because the majority of real enthusiasts, I don't know if they real enthusiasts like this. This is why I'm putting it in quotations. Real enthusiasts said things like the Acura Integra. Cars like the TL, the TLX, and all these other cars. People have said, "Oh, the ILX. How is it that you're okay with having an Acura ILX when you can get a Honda Civic? How is it that you have I think it was, I'm not sure if it's the Acura MDX or the Acura RDX, but then they said, oh look, why aren't you concerned of that car if it's a rebranded Honda Pilot, or if it's not a Pilot, a Honda CRV or something like that. I think it's a Honda Pilot." So it does look. So this is the Honda Pilot, and this is the Acura RDX or MDX. So both of them are going to be here. So it does raise the question as to why Acura does that. To me, it's like, why does Acura like to do those things? So that's something I have to say. But getting back to this main thing, saying the Acura Integra, it definitely is another rebrand, in my opinion. It's an Acura. It's just an Acura ILX all over again. And then, like I said, and most people said, it looks exactly like a Honda Civic, like the newest Honda Civics, like the Honda Civic Si and all of that. It looks the same. It looks exactly the same in my opinion. The next one that people were comparing the act. So this is the Honda Civic, just so you guys know. The next one that I do have to say is that people were mentioning that the Acura Integra looks similar to a Honda Cross Tour. This is the Honda Cross Tour, and that is an issue. That, in my opinion, is an issue when you have cars that look like other cars, but from the same company. Like, oh, the Honda, let's say the Honda Accord. I think it used to be, I think people compared it to to the Acura TL. And then, like I said, there's a lot of comparable things in Acura / Honda. So, and this is something I'm going to differ. This is something I'm going to say, and you guys may get mad at me, can go crazy and say I'm against Honda and Acura because they don't do what I want them to do. Well, look at this. Look at the Toyotas, and look at the Lexus. Okay, look at the Toyotas and look at the Lexus. Can you compare? Can you definitely compare the Toyota Camry to a Lexus product? Can you? Can you compare the Toyota? So this is the Camry. This is the Camry, the newest iteration. Can you compare that to another car? Can you compare the Toyota Corolla to another car? Can you compare the Lexus IS to a Toyota product? Or to the Toyota counterpart? Probably not. I'm not saying that Toyota at one point or another didn't have vehicles that kind of looked like each other, but most of their vehicles are differentiate from each other. Like the Toyota Avalon and the Lexus ES, they're pretty much comparable. Not going to lie about that. They're pretty much comparable to each other. It's like comparable. So I guess that's the reason why Lexus or Toyota decided to shut down the Avalon, the production for the Avalon. And I do understand why they did it, because you can't have the Avalon and then you can have the ES, the Lexus ES. So I do understand why they did it. So that's in my opinion a step in the right direction, and that is something that I do have to say that I do like about that. But like I'm saying, so I've been talking to people along the way, saying, asking people, what do you think of the Acura Integra? Is it good? Most people said, no, we don't want the Acura Integra. You should have just named it the ILX or just called it a fancy Honda Civic. And some people said, I voiced my opinion on the forums, on the Reddit forums and many places, and I asked, why is it that, I never asked. I gave my opinion, I voiced my opinion, and I said, look, I am disappointed in the Acura Integra because it looks nothing like the original Integra. And what were people's opinions, or what were people's responses? Their responses were along the lines of, oh, how are you disappointed, or why are you kind of disappointed or sad, or why do you feel this way? Because in the first place, you should not be hyped for a vehicle you shouldn't be hyped. So if you're not hyped, you're not mad in the end. You're not sad. You're just like, oh, it's a great car. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm not sure how people like us will perceive the vehicle when it comes to the market in 2022/2023, which it it's going to be awesome probably when it comes out with the Type S, but for now it's not great. But people are probably going to buy it because it's at the low price of $30,000 for a luxury car, because I think every Lexus starts out at maybe 35, maybe 35, 40, or up to even 50,000, because like there's cars like I've always mentioned, the LFA that came out at like $500,000 or $400,000 when it first came out. Now, what about when because they are coming back with the LFA, just so you guys know. The rumors is that the LFA is being relaunched. So that's all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. So that is my thoughts on the Acura Integra, letting you guys know that I am disappointed in the Acura Integra. Um, People said don't have too many don't be hyped up for the vehicle, because there's no reason to be hyped up for something that isn't great, but it's John Ikeda, and John Ikeda is known for making cars like the Acura NSX and every other car. So that's just my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. My thoughts is that I'm not hyped for it. I'm not happy for the vehicle. I'm disappointed. And most of the community that grew up in the Acura Integra, the Legend, and all those legendary vehicles are disappointed. And one more thing I have to say is that the new generation, uh, I've seen new generations of people buying cars, but I see people getting cars like the Honda Civic, the older Honda Civics, the two doors, or the older models that look like actual Civics. Now they don't look like Civics. Now they look like uh, some sort of Honda Accord type thing. And then people are going with the Acura RSX, the Acura TSX, the Acura what is it? Yeah, all the other Acuras, the older models. Like I still see people purchasing the older models of the Acura TL, like 2001 or 2002 Acura TL, or I still see people purchasing the Acura RL. So that tells you that Acura, in some way, shape, or form, they've lost it. They've gone in a direction that's like not consumer friendly, or they didn't take the consumers into consideration. But what I do have to say is that the only vehicle that I mean, I'm not gonna say it because this is something I have to say. So that's what I'm saying, that the Acura Integra is an I mean, as a different, if it would have been named something different, I would have said, yeah, I like it. I like the vehicle. For people who are into stick shift, like stick shift manual cars, good for you. Good for you. But for people like for the rest of us that actually care about a vehicle, it's definitely a letdown. So that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll catch you guys in another video.